I'm Stuart Cameron. Welcome to Friday's Look at Rugby. Now, last week we saw Melrose nilled at Curry, something which hasn't happened a great deal in the last few years. In fact, I haven't been able to establish exactly the last time that Melrose ended up with no points. Hawick, though, beat Glasgow Hawks to put more pressure on Gala for that fourth-place playoff spot, and their remaining two matches are against the two bottom clubs, Boroughmuir and Edinburgh Accies. So on paper, you would say they've got the easier run-in than Gala, who face Melrose and Heriots in their last two matches. But with Edinburgh clubs fighting for survival, no one will take anything for granted. In the National League One, Selkirk beat GHA to go 16 points clear with 16 wins out of 16. And after the game, I spoke to winning captain Matt Kissick.
The boys are very focused. We know we've got 6 games left and they're just going to be keep getting tougher and tougher. We've got some quality opposition to come up against, and we're 16 points in front, but the job's not even done yet. So, and we realise that as a group, and we're striving towards that. Taking each game as it comes. It's cliche, but just keep working that until the end of the season. So yeah.
And a real message to everyone as well, because a lot of people have said, well, Selkirk, they're a top of the ground rugby team, a very light team. They don't like the boggy, muddy conditions, but this is boggy and muddy today, and you got the win.
Yeah, we did. Well, people may say that, but we've got good ability amongst the good boys, and we've got that willingness to work for each other and play hard. So that showed today as well. We don't really care what kind of conditions are. We're just going to give it our all every week, and so far that's been boding well for us.
Matt Kissick. Well, also last week, Kelson Peebles lost, but Jed Forrest, now with Gregor and Lewis Young back at the club, ran riot at home to Mar with a big win. In the East Leagues, Gallow IM, Earlston and St Boswell's all won last week, with Bozzies going 2 years undefeated against second-placed Forrester. It's RBS Six Nations time, of course, and tonight Wales and England will do battle at the Millennium Stadium. But tomorrow Scotland's campaign begins against France in Paris. The last time they won there was in 1999, when former Jed scrum half Gary Armstrong captained the side. And 16 years on, a former Jed scrum half will also captain his country. So hopefully that's a good omen. But a word of warning, I'll be out in Paris, and I haven't seen a Scottish away win for 44 years now. So I'm hoping that bogey will finally be laid to rest. We hear from Greig Laidlaw on Scotland's chances.
Well, the players are extremely excited. We're very much excited coming back into the squad this time around after good performances in the autumn. And we've probably prepared a lot differently this time under a new coach, obviously, and things went well for us, as I mentioned in the autumn, but we can't keep going back to that, and it's all about the next game now, and it's going to be a tough game out in Paris for a start. Scotland have not won out there for a number of years. 99, I believe, was the last time picked up a win, so it's a tough place to start, but we're looking forward to the challenge. It's a great stadium to go and play in, and the French crowd are always very vocal and get right behind their team, and rightly so. So that's part of the challenge as well, and we just need to get our part right. If the players go out there, do that, if they play for each other, play for our jersey, and then we'll be absolutely fine.
Greg, since you've left Edinburgh, your own personal career seems to have gone up. It's been rejuvenated. Is that how you felt yourself?
I mean, listen, I think it just refreshed me as a player, and that's why I left. I love my time at Edinburgh. But I just felt I'd been there for 8 seasons. It was time to go, and I think for me personally, with the sort of competition where I went, and the sort of Premiership, it's just really refreshed me as a player, and almost I have to prove myself again, and that's stood me in good stead. I'm down there, playing with good players, and not that I wasn't up in Edinburgh. I'm just playing with different players, and that's good for a player. I'm playing in amongst English boys, a few Welsh boys in and amongst there as well, so I'm enjoying it down there so far.
And you seem very comfortable with the captaincy again as well?
It's a massive honour for me. I never ever take it lightly, because it can be taken away at any time. So again, I've been given the absolute privilege for the weekend, and I'm going out there to lead my country the best I can, to get us a win hopefully, and do us proud.
Greig Laidlaw. Other Borders connections are involved for Scotland in the team. Stuart Hogg at 15, Alex Dunbar in the centre, former Selkirk player, of course, and Ross Ford will start at hooker. Jeff Cross is on the bench. A word now from kilted Kiwi Blair Cowan, who starts at 7.
I think it's just fresh at the moment, and we've got some young players that are hitting the international stage and doing exceptionally well, and it's the optimism that we're feeding off at the moment, and we're putting it out on the paddock. We're not just saying one thing and doing another. We're actually going out there and doing it, and we're still building yet, and we're still real in where we're at as a squad. We've still got a lot to go forward, but we're on the right track. And I mean, France away is a huge chance to put our foot forward for the rest of the Six Nations, and we'll thrive off of the optimism and the support. We can feel it around us. The fan base has just grown, and we're starting to use the people as a huge drive, the people of Scotland, and we'll keep going forward with that mentality. It's about one game at a time. You know deep down our goal is to win every game we go out to play and to win the Six Nations. There's no point us going out there in this competition if we didn't think it was possible. But we're not going to look ahead at that big outcome. We're just going to look at week by week what we're going to do, what the opposition is, all the things that we did in the autumn to get these results. So first thing first is France. Obviously, we're all there, we're ready to go, and the big outcomes to win the Six Nations. But first task is France, and that's all we're worried about right now.
Staying in the forwards, and Richie Gray will join his brother Johnny in the second row, and they become only the second set of brothers to start a match in the second row, and the first this century. We hear from Richie now.
We had a good autumn, we improved, but we want to continue to improve, because it doesn't want to be one step forward, two step backs, and we're constantly repeating that in training and the meetings that we have, that we need to keep improving, because the Six Nations teams in the autumn internationals, they also improved, so everyone's making progress.
One man back in the side starting is Flying Dutchman Tim Visser.
It's overdue, and we've been doing things that people didn't think we could do in recent years, beating Canada and Canada beating Argentina here. All big games that we managed to win. I think France would be something that could easily top that if we managed to get a win over there. And it's one of those games that's a tough start for us, going away to the Stade de Francais and having to play there against the French teams that want to attack us, want to play out wide, and we know they're playing an expansive game, so it's a tough game to have first up, but that would be an incredible start for us to get a win over there, and would really kickstart the rest of the campaign for us.
France v Scotland follows the Italy v Ireland game late tomorrow afternoon. Scotland under-20 are in France as well, taking on their French counterparts, but a late switch from Glasgow to Gala for the club international between Scotland and Ireland. That is taking place this moment at Netherdale. Well, I spoke with one of our local players involved, George Graham.
Obviously, we've only had 4 sessions together, and obviously we've had a couple of sessions, but it's been sort of here and there, and everyone can't make it because of work commitments.
Tell us, from a club's perspective, how important this is to get into a Scottish club side.
No, definitely for me. I mean, obviously playing most. Well, I've played most from rugby in England and moving up. I am a Scottish lad, but there's nothing proud of playing for Scotland, even if it's amateur or pro. I feel very proud to play for my country, and I think a lot of the boys do as well, and it's an honour, to be honest.
Of course, England counties, will be a bit of an unknown quantity, but of course they're going to be a massive side.
Oh yeah, you've seen, I don't know if they're from National One or Championship, but either way, there's a lot of money in the English Championship and in the National One, so they're going to be big boys, they're going to be well drilled, and we've just got to step up to the plate and obviously produce something special. But you can only play what's put in front of you, and I think we'll rise to the occasion.
Well, quick word about Gala, finally, 3 in a row now, which is very, very pleasing after the dip in form before Christmas.
Yeah, we've sort of hit a little bit of form. I think we've got a lot more to come, but we're playing for that top 4 position, and I think a few teams can catch us. We've got a really tough run in playing Melrose and Heriots, so we've just got to keep ticking away and make sure we get maximum point, well, at least 4 points from each of those games, and see what happens at the end of the season. Obviously, we can't go into the future, but we'll keep plugging away and see what happens.
George Graham and his brother has left Gala to sign a pro contract with Jersey from the English Championship, and we wish him all the best at his new club. Finally, on to tomorrow and 2 featured games on Saturday Scoreboard Live, with the Border Shield match between St Boswell's and Hoyt Lindeen, covered by Dale Clancy. Now, if St Boswell's win that game, they will be champions of the Borders as far as the Shield is concerned, and they will take their semi-final national place against North Berwick, 1 step away from Murrayfield. But anything can happen, and Hoyt Lindeen will be out to spoil the party. Stuart McFarlane is off to Scremerston for the National League One encounter between top of the table Berwick and bottom of the table Langham, who are on just 0 points after a points deduction for non-fulfilment of fixtures. Hopefully they'll be able to get a team together for the match tomorrow. So local games tomorrow: BT National League 1, Biggar v Kelso, Dundee take on Jed Forest, Hillhead Jordan Hill are at home to Peebles. Selkirk's match at Watsonians is postponed due to the Scotland Under-20 International involving several of their players. The BT Borders Shield, Hawick Quins against Duns, and St Boswell's versus Hawick Lindeen. And in East League 3, it's Walkerburn versus Gala YM.